What was your view of the game?
I thought we were very dominant in the game. I thought controlled both halves totally. We played almost the whole game in York's half. I think possibly looking at the game now and reflecting on it, York maybe felt like it was going to be a difficult challenge to win it off us in our own half, and maybe would be dangerous for them to do so, what they might leave for us behind spaces wise. So they kind of gave up the ball in that regard, and we played almost the whole game in York's half. And I knew when a team plays a real low block like that, you need your fans on side, because there has to be an understanding that their whole team is behind the ball. And so what we don't need is any edginess that we're playing and we're probing, because you know in games like that it's very important not to get counted on or sucker punch when you're having so much of the ball. And probably, unless you're fortunate in the first half, which I thought we were unfortunate with the moments we created first half where we could have scored, and with Ty going through and trying to scoop Hendo in, and a couple of other moments Eastie going through on goal. Unless you get that goal, I think the real challenge for the opposition is in the second half. If they haven't scored and they're still in that same mode of defending deep and trying to hold on, if you move the ball, which we did, the game really opened up second half. And we had loads of chances. I think we had 15 shots. I just think we were the much better team on the day. We controlled the game and created a lot of chances in the end from it, and we were just unfortunate on this day that none of them went in. But the fight and everything else in the performance, I can't ask for any more from the team, particularly the situation they're in. So I'm admirable.
Ironically, I think the closest you came to conceding was under 30 seconds, wasn't it? Right at the start.
What was it, Mark? Remind me of that.
That shot.
It was.
Went
we
in.
lost the ball right at the start. Yeah.
He just went straight through.
Another shot. Yeah, they got a corner, didn't they? Very beginning of the game.
Yeah, it was a good save.
Seems like a long time ago.
But that's what. And then I thought it's going to be an open game, but actually, that was probably their best chance.
Yeah, we would. Yeah. If someone did that to us, I'd be being very open about it. I'd be saying they were totally dominant and controlling. We were. I tell our guys all the time to be humble. Humility is a big word in our camp, because I think once you get ahead of yourself, you cause yourself problems, and we definitely can't afford to get ahead of ourselves because there's too many challenges we're facing. But I thought as a 95, 100-minute performance, we had total control. Total dominance. It was brilliant execution from the team. We just never got a goal, fortunately.
Could I ask you about Nevitt, because he was named man of the match here? A lot of people are watching him. To me, he looks like a young Rio Ferdinand. Is that too big a step?
It's a big comparison, isn't it? Because we're talking about one of England's greats there. I wouldn't like to go too heavy-handed into that same comparison, but what I would say is I think George is a brilliant footballer, and obviously I do. I think all the noise at the start of the season when I chose to start George as a 17-year-old, unseen prospect, it's gone. That's quieting now because people have seen George, and I knew there was real pressure. Our first game of the season was on TV, big opening day. We were playing Ipswich at the time. The powerful forwards on the pitch, it would be a challenge for George. And a lot of people said George will struggle in this league, but for what I want to do and what I want us to look like, it just seemed like, how could I choose anything other than George for that particular game? And he took his chance. He did a brilliant pre-season, and he took his chance, and he's not looked back. He's shown moments of being 17 at times, but why shouldn't he? He's 17. I think George epitomises Rochdale this season, if I'm being honest. Really brave, playing on the edge of risk, but right on the edge of reward as well. I think shown some vulnerabilities, but those vulnerabilities have also come from the circumstances that we've all been in. And I think he's been an absolute. I wouldn't say stand out, because I think the team has stood out in terms of what they're trying to do this season and in the circumstances they're trying to do it in. George has kind of epitomised that character and belief and ability for the style of football that we've tried to play all season. he's had a wonderful season thus far. Massively helped by the man playing next to him as well, Ethan Ebanks-Landell, because I don't think without playing Ethan alongside him, he could have had such a smooth transition into the team. And they've partnered really well this season.
And I mean, looking at it as a third-party observer, you're a great team to watch. Football is it's entertaining. You do entertain, and you know the passing and things, and trying to work your way through. I mean, you must be very proud when you look at your players and doing that. Frustrating, obviously, that you don't get the goals, but I mean, you've notched up quite a few goals this season, and a few of your players have got a few goals behind them. So, you know, from that point of view, do you see that that'll just get better and better?
I hope so. It'll depend on how much I can support it. Unfortunately, you know, from a circumstance point of view, Adam Clayton got injured today, and that takes us down to 13 fit players, which is unlike anything I've heard before. But yeah, I'm so proud of them despite those circumstances. I was listening round to managers' report this week, and I was listening to Neil before he played us, talking about how we had 28 players on the training pitch and how that was difficult. And I was thinking, must be nice. We've got 14. I heard Dave over at Stockport yesterday saying that they really need the fans today. And the fans must have done their part, by the way, because I heard they just won 8-0. But he said they really need the fans because he's going to have to roll out the same 11 again. He said because the 16 or 15 behind them, they're not pushing enough. And I thought, must be nice.
Mind you, was it Liverpool who won a title with just 14 players one season?
Did they?
In the 80s, yeah.
Right, okay. Different times, I would imagine.
Yeah, they had 14. They used 14 players, yeah.
Maybe if we were still playing in the 80s, that would be possible. But no, I agree. They played great football at times. They've been really brave, and you know, someone told me a stat that we scored 2 goals in 8 consecutive games for the first time for a Rochdale team since 2008, 2009, and that's purely through bravery. It's not through punch or power, because the squad doesn't have that kind of depth where we can just roll guys on, roll guys off. You know, we're having a bad day, someone comes on. We've had to be really clever. Today, we finished with like a full-back playing in the number 10, a full-back playing in midfield, a midfielder playing up front. You know, we've had to be so creative because of the challenges that we face, and yeah, I think they've been really brave. I've felt the same as you felt at times. I felt that same, happiness at watching them and the style they play and the bravery they play it with. At times, we've got caught, we've got punched because of it, but I feel that we couldn't have played any other way. I don't think we could have just stood and had a fight with teams all season, otherwise I think we'd be at the bottom of the league. I do. Our fight has to be in another way. Our fight has to be through bravery, and I think they've showed it in abundance, and I just hope we can get to a stage, you know, where we can begin to help them more.